talking about being unequally yoked, and you said what the intellectual.
uh, uh, personality, I guess you call it, of the person's background. For example, if one person is more highly educated and well-rounded in society than the other one, that creates a problem too. That's just all the fact.
Mm-hmm. And
There's so much that's there that you see. You really don't think of everything. You just notice uh, what little differences. There are little things that you are more comfortable with somebody who is born on, and that's one of the problems with our society. The white black thing is when
mm-hmm.
you're used to a particular uh, rule, if you will, in society. People do this, people do that. Just for example, that woman walks up to, she calls her, tells she's coming by, and apparently she was planning on maybe stopping by if the woman invited her.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, she was going to get a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
But when the woman offered her a night to stay that night, how did you read it? Because to me,
Oh,
I
you're talking
can
about the
see it.
article you was reading in the paper. The so the difference is, and here's what made me start the recording. You and I last night were talking about relationships and so forth, and we were talking about cultural differences. I slept on that, but when I woke up this morning, I said, "What does that mean?" Because cultural can mean a lot of things. Um, and I talked about my own situation. I talked about, being in a relationship with someone of the same nationality, but I would say culturally we were raised very different. Um, but I think for me, because I come from a faith based, I don't know, center, if you would, I call that being unequally yoked, no matter whether you're black and white or you U.S. versus India versus the U.K. versus Africa. And you said be mindful of cultural differences. So when you say cultural differences, oh, and what was the statement you told me last night about uh, the Gulf is wide? The Gulf is wider than.
Lake. Basically,
No, repeat what you said. I think I got
the
it
lake
wrong.
to the Pacific Ocean.
The lake to the.
I actually, in that particular instance, I compared the Gulf of Mexico to the wide Pacific because the Pacific. I don't know what the dimensions are, but the Pacific Ocean is very wide,
Right.
and even though they claim they're a fire ocean, it's only really in actuality two, and you can always you can break that down to one
Mm.
because they connect somewhere at the top of the world or at the bottom of the world.
Mm.
But
But what was your intent for that statement? What was your.
it's somewhere in your book called the Bible. It mentions something like that.
But for clarity and for the video, you and I were talking about
I know what you're talking about.
relationship. No, I want you to define it though. Define. You made a comment about the water. The Gulf is wider than. I think. Is that what you said? I want you to repeat what you said. I'm trying.
In other words, I don't know exactly how I said it right now. I have to get a little bit more awake after.
Okay.
But
In all fairness, yeah, I am. I am coming at you kind of early.
because see, I'm just dropping a few of the life's hints,
I know.
and you're taking them absolutely sincerely,
I literally I
and
am, and which is what I do.
and
But it was so profound because I thought about it after you said it. I said so really because here's the thing. I get a second chance at this, and not everybody does. And you and I talked last night about you knew some things, you saw some things in my relationships that I didn't see.
what do you mean with your husband?
Mm-hmm. With the
One,
previous, no, with the
I
previous two
saw it.
husbands. Let's talk about the previous two
Well,
husbands.
all I saw with that first one was a young, uh, how do I want to describe him? Irresponsible, typical black American at the time, and with nothing really going for him.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really see him as I don't know, as I would say a family type person.
Mm-hmm.
But with Glenn, I saw that his background, you can say culture if you want,
Yeah.
was totally different than what you were used to.
Mm-hmm.
You were raised Texan, he was raised Louisianian.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while to get used to the fishes.
To the what?
The fishes. I was
Oh, okay.
Freeman and his family
Uh-huh.
because of their differences.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of like for the first 4 or 5 years, it was sort of like dealing with foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
And, and of course, over a period of years, you they those in this particular case, those differences seem to fade away somewhat or become just a part of, and you get to the point where you can't rely for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. So,
Because
you have people who fall in love and they have differences, but somehow they're able to adapt and overcome them. And then you have those differences that are connected to your value system. I think the ones that are connected to your value system are the ones that you need to really pay attention to because, and of course, in your youth, I don't know that you have this understanding. That's probably why you should listen to people who do because you don't have it. You don't have the experience to have it. So, but unfortunately, in our youth, we make decisions without any basis, foundation of information. So, but as you get older, I have a value system now. So there's no sense in me bringing somebody into my world that doesn't have the same value system that I have now discovered that I have. So when you mentioned cultural last night, I said, and you were like, oh, you can do what you want to do. I said, yeah, I know, I'm grown. I understand that. But I'm also wiser than I was when I was 19, where I would not
you
have
didn't
even
know
paid.
anything
I didn't know
then.
anything, no. Didn't know anything. And I probably would have heard you in one ear and out the other, but that's not the case in this moment. Because last night you said cultural differences. I was like, so now I'm looking at, okay, in 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 this relationship, am I missing something? So that's what I took away from that. That okay, did I miss something? Am I missing something before I move forward and so forth? Am I missing something? And when you said cultural, that got me to thinking, what is cultural? Are we talking cultural, like as in upbringing, or are we talking about value system? Meaning, I guess they both could be.
Culture is all in it. Everything's in it.
Everything's in it.
Even the foods you eat,
That's true. Okay, that's
it's a
fair.
whole different lifestyle.
Yeah.
And um,
So you're saying that some of those things could potentially be a issue. You know,
some would be an asset because some of
some
them
would be
are
an
good
asset.
looking,
Okay.
but then it's not going to outweigh. Oh God, I didn't, to myself, just talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect this,
Mm-hmm.
but it's and the more older I get, and of course I'm getting into the feeble age or
Mm-hmm.
the dog age. You, your, 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 uh, your thinking process, obviously, it, it slows, but it also has a tendency to linger in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
But it was primarily that came from experience of
Mm-hmm.
being around one particular person for a few months, and
Mm-hmm.
then around another person that I talked to for years.
Mm-hmm.
I still talk to and
Mhm.
but her husband's dead now. But
Mhm.
he was
What? Now, what couple was this? Which one?
one where we Whitfield,
Mm.
Richard, the mother.
Ah.
We
Mhm.
never dated. We just always had a friendly relationship.
Mhm.
But we talked for, I guess, off and on for a
Mhm.
couple of years before we left Texas, and then
Mhm.
came out here. And after many years, I was in Houston, waiting on a flight that we couldn't get on.
Mhm.
What we had done, we had held like a 3 or 4 day convention down there in the capital,
Mhm.
in a hotel near the airport. And we got to the airport. Well, we get to the airport, catch flight so and so, and be in LA in a couple hours. Well, that didn't happen. And
Yeah.
spent about 2 or 3 hours in the airport
Mhm.
that day. And Frederica happened to be on the lobby,
Mhm.
and then I said, Kevin, it's not like another thing. And it just kept going on and on. And I started picking up little things that she'd say. And I said, I know that she's Noah's daughter. I know it. I just know it.
Mhm.
And then one day, after some months, I just got a card and jotted down and asked her if that's who she was. And
Mm.
she wrote me a card back, yes.
Mm. It was something I wanted to ask you. There's there's a difference that I see. People get married in their youth, and I'm gonna use the terminology that I think I've grown to use because it helps me to understand the process. That they get married in their youth, and then they wake up somewhere in the middle and realize that they're unequally yoked. I'm using that terminology just for this conversation, but they don't really know that that's what it is. And so one may grow spiritually, the other one doesn't. Maybe they don't grow spiritually, but they grow professionally, and the other one doesn't. So there's this imbalance in the relationship.
That happens all the time.
Exactly. But there's a group of people that say, regardless, I'm just gonna stay in it.
Well,
Let me finish. Regardless, I'm just gonna stay in it, even though they know, right? And I even have instances where I know people that have relationships with other people that they regret that they did not pursue. I'll use that language. And now in their latter years, because that was a lot of my decision. And I said this to you. I said,
anybody wanted to talk
no,
back to
no,
talk.
it's okay.
Go ahead.
Um, when I realized the longevity possibility of my life, you're 94. Mom is 88. I just turned the corner. So I got at least another 30. I say, Dad, I
You
can't.
should be so
I'm
fortunate.
so fortunate. I was
Did
so fortunate.
you know what the Living Bible says
What's
about
that?
that?
Uh huh.
70 years.
I know.
Do you know what it says?
Yeah.
What you just given to man? And
Yeah.
if by some good fortune,
Fortune. Exactly.
you may live to be at 70 or more,
Exactly.
80 or whatever. But anyway,
But getting back to my scenario, I realized the possibility of my age, and I wasn't willing to go out like that. I wasn't willing to
well,
spend the next 30 some years like that. But there have been people who have stayed in it regardless, and I'm going to be honest with you, that they get to the latter years and they're miserable. And they have regrets. But I understand. So, but then there's a group like myself that are coming along that's saying, nope, my life doesn't line up with the word. And that was the basis of my decision, was the fact that my life did not line up with the word of God.
I think I told you a little bit about the generation thing.
Yeah.
Being born in a generation when you get married, you stay married.
Right.
Because come hell, high water, I guess you swore before God that
Right.
you're going to stay
Right.
where you
Right.
are.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And they lasted, but what kind of marriage would?
Exactly.
And
And I've had an older woman tell me that. She basically, somebody was saying, "Oh my God, you guys have been married for 52 years?" She said, "Well, I wouldn't throw a party for it." That's exactly what she said, and she said it openly. She said, "I wouldn't throw a party for it. It was a relationship of." She didn't say it was hell. She used another word, but I was like, man, how sad
well,
is that?
here again, the individuals have something to do with it. But I want to tell you about a scenario. One night,
Mm,
going to choir rehearsal was about 7 women and myself. They got there early, and or the others got there a little late, whichever the case may be.
mm-hmm.
But they started talking among themselves about marriage and wanting to do this, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what confuses the whole issue, which made me know stuff like this that there is no absolute
Mm-mm.
where mankind is concerned.
I can agree
Is
with
there?
that. I agree with that.
There's this situation. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about time, place, and opportunity. That's what life is about. Time, the time of the years. Uh, uh, and you meet people, and then that's that's one time. Uh, that's one of the biggest factors. Time, what did I say?
Time, place, and
A place.
opportunity.
That was
Mm-hmm.
what I'm coming to. And where the place is that you meet them, that's something to do.
Uh,
And then the opportunity to be able to connect with them.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's an accidental connection. Most of the time it is somewhat accidental. But anyway, just getting there to the choir rehearsal early. I think there was 7 women and myself. They were all married,
Mm-hmm.
and there was. They got to talk. And one says, "If I'd known what I know now, I'd just get the first one." And to a T, every darn one of them said the same thing.
Oh
All
wow.
of them. And I said, "You must have it." And there was only one that was there who didn't say that. And maybe she might not have been being truthful
Mm.
because I heard that her husband could be mean.
Yeah.
Could be
Well,
like
before
that.
I know you can ready to get your coffee. Before you get, oh,
I'm
you
not
already up,
warming.
huh?
I'm not warming, but
You gonna warm it? We'll come back to this. Okay.